welcome to Having a Yarn. I'm Kacy.
I'm Tif.
And this is our mostly monthly podcast where we talk about all things crafty, what we've been doing this month and sharing it with you.
Yeah, because we're the sharing, caring kind of people and we like to talk about ourselves.
I mean, that's mainly it.
Yeah.
It's like we both think that we're endlessly fascinating and that people on the internet would love to hear our opinion on things.
The weird thing is, though, that we don't. We're the most self-critical people ever.
No. So someone else said this the other day and I agreed entirely. Like, I both think that I am better than everyone else and also a troll at the same time.
Correct.
And both of those feelings exist.
Simultaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm better than most people, but also...
Worse than most people.
like 100% a troll person.
I'm a garbage fire of a human. Yeah. I am the best garbage fire human on the planet.
Yeah. So, anyway. So thank you for those of you who have been giving us some feedback on these podcasts. So it's been really lovely. Either been some friends and family or people that I don't know who are like, hey, you guys are awesome. And
thanks. We like you
cool.
too.
Yeah. We haven't been having like a huge number of viewers, but that's also not why we're doing this.
No, we just do it because we like to hear ourselves talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get together and sit on my couch and talk about stuff for a few hours on a weekend.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what's been happening in your life?
I mean, it's mostly just work.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few issues going on at work at the moment, so I don't have a lot of finished objects this month, unfortunately, because life is stressful.
True. True.
So I've just been plodding away, which I'll talk about in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing very exciting. Well, apart from the fact that we went on a road trip.
Oh, well, I know. Well, let's talk about
Spoiler alert!
Should we talk about that now?
Yeah, let's talk about that now.
Okay, cool. So we may not. A corona update.
Oh yeah.
In WA, so Western Australia, where we live and are currently sitting. We're pretty much back to normal.
Yeah.
Like, go WA. Like, anyone who's from WA, awesome job. We can go out. We can gather in groups of thousands now.
As many as we want, really.
I went to get a coffee this morning from my local coffee shop. Holy moly, completely back to normal, like, people everywhere.
Yeah. Although Alan, my husband, did say the other day he was at the shops and he coughed and people scattered like he had just beheaded a baby.
Okay, so I coughed at work on Thursday and I was told that I couldn't come to work. So I had to go get swabbed again. So I'm getting one of those like loyalty cards. You know when you get 10 coffees? I'm getting
10
that for like COVID testing. So I've had 2 tests now. And then of course, because I coughed, then once they swabbed me, that I couldn't leave the house. So
because you're like morally obliged to not
and I was
leave.
like
100%
knew that I was fine, but still I was like sitting in here and like waiting, and then I got my test back to say that corona wasn't detected, and I was like, no shit. And then I went and bought a mop. That was the first thing I did, and I realised I'm an adult because I was like, oh yeah, I can go get that mop. It's a really good mop though.
I mean,
So.
whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
But apart from that, from everyone still being like slightly paranoid if you show any sign of coughing or sneezing or whatever, very, very small amount of cases remaining, all from overseas travellers that have come.
No community spread.
Yeah, none of that. So we're keeping our borders locked down.
Yeah. Did you see that Simpsons meme?
No.
Where it was like...
Homer going back into the bushes?
No.
Oh.
It was like Scott Morrison was like, what's his name? Ned Flanders. And he was like, so hey, Mark McGowan, like, how about opening up your like bordery doos or something? And it was like the part on The Simpsons where like Homer's just like closing the door of the of the garage and like Ned's like doing this.
Yeah,
and
we
it's
don't
like
want
Mark McGowan's like...
We don't want you, the rest of Australia. Stay where you are.
Especially Victoria. I'm sorry. All these security guards who have been having sex with people in... Do you know about that?
In the hotels?
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what they'd been doing. I knew it was to do with hotels.
Because the security guards were having sex with the people who were in quarantine and then going home. Victoria!
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
This is why we can't be friends. This is why we're not sending you a
This is
Christmas
why we
card.
can't have nice things, Victoria.
So, but yeah, within WA,
Keep it in your pants.
it's almost like it's not a thing.
No, we're good.
Yeah, the apocalypse is happening elsewhere. It's not happening here.
No.
So
we
we're
got our
all
borders locked down.
So we're all good. So we're allowed to travel intrastate.
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 Yes.
So we went on a road trip.
We did. Yes. So, someone asked me the other day, they were like, well, why did you like go down south? Like, you've got yarn stores in Perth. But also, shut up, for one.
You're not my real mum.
You're not my real mum. I wanted to go for a drive, okay? So shoot me. I live alone. I wanted to leave my house. Okay?
But also, so there's this particular yarn, hedgehog fibres, which is very hard to get in WA. There's only 2 stores listed on the website as stockists. One of them is Calico and Ivy, that we love and adore. But they don't have anything above a DK? Or not even, they don't even have a DK, do they? Don't they only have the...
No, they don't. Oh, they have fingering sometimes,
Yeah,
but they haven't had it recently.
And then the other one that's listed on the website as a stockist is down in Margaret River.
Yeah.
And Kacy really, really wanted some to make a colourwork jumper that's not called the throwaway.
Because that would be a really shitty name for like a jumper.
Spent all that time making it and then you're like...
Straight in the bin.
And so rather than purchasing online from America, she wanted to do the right thing and support somewhat local.
Yeah.
So
That's local.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah. So she messaged me and she was like, hey, I'm thinking about going on a yarn road trip. And I was like,
I
cool.
think, when was that? I think I like messaged
Like
you.
the week before.
It was like a week. I
Yeah.
was just like, I need to leave my house. And then you were like, hey, can I come with you? And I'm like, that is why I told you. Because I was expecting you to invite yourself.
I mean, I didn't want to assume. And then I was like, when were you thinking? And she said next weekend. And I was like, oh, okay. So it just so happened I was free. And so that's what we did. We went down south to purchase yarn because why not?
Yeah, and do we get to the point where I say that I purchased nothing?
Yeah, so...
Except for a beanie, which I did not make. So for people who were going down on like a crafting trip, I ended up buying something that I clearly could make myself.
But I mean, it's cute though.
Look! Oh my god!
We have matching heads now.
Okay. I can't put it on because I'll mess my hair.
I mean, I'm going to put mine on anyway, just
Okay, well.
to show how cute it is because
So
my hair's
mine's
up.
like the same, but
It's
like,
the same, but cream.
yeah.
So we found this very cute little shop,
Oh my God, do you
and
know
I'm
the
going to
name?
make Kacy say the name of the town because I'm really bad at it. It's
Warram
called...
Up.
Yeah.
Yes, which is like, 15 minutes? 15
Yeah.
minutes north of Margaret River.
South?
North.
North. Yeah, because you're going south when you go to Margaret River. It's
Yeah,
all right.
I was like-
I'm like, it's before it.
Yeah, which is north.
Which is north, yeah. Clearly, I'm very good at directions.
Science.
Yeah. So yeah, we found this cute little shop. It's called...
Shit.
It's called a name that we will put down there in the bit. Something about Mother Earth or something. It's
Wild
very
Earth.
Wild Earth. That's Wild Earth Trading Co.
Yes.
I think we got there.
Basically, go to Warram Up. It's the tiniest place.
Yeah.
Like, there's a good coffee and tea place and
Yes.
a cool clothes store and this store.
And it has like a chocolate place next door. Like the coffee place has a chocolate shop in it as well with all kinds of weird like chocolates. Like wasn't there like a cauliflower and turmeric or something?
Yes, there was something, yeah, which we didn't buy.
Strange. Well, there was none left.
That's
They
right.
were sold out of the
Because I
cauliflower
actually-
chocolate.
Yeah. Because everyone would have been like, what the fuck? I need to buy that. And then they eat it and they're like, this is disgusting.
I'd probably throw it in the bin. And I also bought this scarf, which I could have
God.
also knit, but I didn't.
But also, who cares?
But it's real. It's like it's an infinity scarf. I don't want to put it on because it'll mess up the microphone.
And it's beautiful and the colour
It's
is
so
gorgeous.
soft.
Ooh, I think you just, what's your arm? So we're trialling out a new boom mic that's above us here. So I think you just whacked it.
I mean, we're professionals at this. So yeah, it's an infinity scarf. It's really soft, and it's pink, but it's got this very kind of faint yellow kind of thread going through it.
Gorgeous.
It is very soft and lovely, and a color that I absolutely love.
Sorry, it's because you say I always sniff
Do
things.
you want to smell it some more?
it's
Okay. So yeah, we bought those 3 things on our crafting trip.
Yes, and so basically we stayed in an Airbnb down there, and the lady was so cute. She was like, "You guys are adorable. You're coming down on like a knitting trip." And then so on the Saturday, we went, because pretty much the places that we wanted to go to were only open Saturday mornings.
Yeah,
so,
for some reason, knitting, crafting places don't like to be open on a Sunday. It's like they have lives or something.
Yeah, how dare they? So we went to Spool and Spindle.
Yes. Yes,
In
which
Ma-
I always want to call Spoodle, but it's
Spoodle?
not what it's called.
In Margaret River. And then we went to
Strawberry Thief?
Wild.
No, that's the place up
one.
here.
Hang
Hang
on.
on.
Cotton Rose.
Yes, I was going to say. I can
In
tell you.
Vass.
Yes.
And then
Which
we
is more of a fabric store than a yarn store. They had a
Yeah.
little bit of yarn, not a lot, but their fabric was gorgeous.
And they were lovely.
And they were so
Good
nice.
customer service.
Yeah.
And then we went to...
Something in Bustleton that wasn't very good.
Oh, yeah. It was just like, I don't know. It was a lot of kind of acrylic-y stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit kind of like Spotlight, if Spotlight was an independently owned store, and
Yeah, it was
Not
a
a
little bit
multi-chain.
like, I don't know, old lady.
it was a little bit old lady.
Not kind of modern and cool
yeah.
like we obviously are.
Not as cool as us, obviously.
Obviously.
And also they said it was a wool store, which annoys me, and I know it's dumb, but it's not called wool because it's not made of wool.
Yeah.
It's yarn because this is acrylic, and they had acrylic and they had cotton and they had
Yes.
all kinds of things that weren't wool.
So call yourself a yarn store and then
Yeah.
be like, some of that stuff happens to be made of wool.
Yeah, which I know is a bit petty, but it annoys me.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that one wasn't great. We didn't buy anything from them.
No, I didn't buy anything from anyone.
That's true.
Yeah.
I
I think Spool and Spindle was probably my favourite.
Yeah.
The one in Margs, but it just like they weren't going to be stocking the hedgehog fibres anymore just because of the cost of getting it from the States. And so she had a couple of skeins there, which were gorgeous and I was going to buy, but they weren't quite what I was looking for. And so
I bought them instead because they were heavily reduced.
And that's also happened several times where
That's true.
I go to buy something and then I put it down and then you're like, yoink.
Yeah, because I always I'm hovering like, is she gonna buy it?
Yeah.
And then she puts it down and like, yes. But also like it seemed like such a waste to not get it because they're not the same color, but they're close enough that you could.
Because they're like, I think they are.
Are they meant to be? They're just hand dyed, so they look different.
Dusk.
Dusk. They are the same color.
Yeah.
This one looks quite a lot lighter than that one though.
But it's also probably once you go in
Yeah.
there, you'll notice that it's...
So yeah, I was thinking if I decide to brave color work, I can probably use these for the contrasty color yolky part.
So this is the Merino Aran. So Aran weight in the colour Dusk, like I said, and it's 100% superwash merino. And flip, it is like squishy.
It's so nice.
Really, really nice. But yeah, for my throw over, which I was going to talk about later anyway, I don't think this will quite work for the colour work section.
Yeah, it's not quite the colour you wanted.
No.
So,
No.
yeah, but I mean, it's very firmly within my colour spectrum of colours, so I figured I'll use it at some point. I actually have several other skeins at home of like bits and pieces that are these colours, so clearly it's a colour I like.
Yeah.
And
and
then
then
from
yeah.
Cotton Rose, I got this lovely pattern for this. It was actually in the window on display, kind of draped over something.
Like, unique.
It is. So it's little circles of fabric with then like crochet I don't know what you like. It's the crochet goes into the little circles of fabric and then obviously builds out to make like a little piece, and then you piece them all together and then it makes a beautiful blanket. The lovely lady at Cotton Rose designed it herself. And Strawberry Fields, which I tried to say before, is the name of the place in Perth where you can get this fabric from.
It's Liberty fabric.
It is Liberty fabric. And Strawberry Thief is the largest Liberty fabric distributor in the Southern Hemisphere, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then there's also a place called Materialize as well.
Yeah.
Which is just around the corner here.
But
That's also has
it doesn't actually have the name of the fabric in the pattern because you can obviously use it with whichever fabric you want. But I emailed the Strawberry Thief and they did tell me the name of the fabric, which I thought was very lovely of them. So I will get around to buying that at some point so that I can...
And you're pretty much going to do the same colours
I'm
because they're perfection.
pretty much, yeah, doing this exact. The only thing was that she had like a reddy orange around the border, which I didn't like, and I'll just do a purple or a teal or something.
The
But
colours
yes,
that are kind of on the
Yeah.
inside. So nice.
love it so much. So yeah, that's what we bought on our crafting weekend.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we drank lots of tea. Casey had some wine.
Move on.
We went for a little walk on Saturday night in Margaret River Town, and Kacy told me that she didn't know someone from a bag of fish.
No! Was it a bag of fish?
It was a bag of fish.
What? So I meant to say, I don't know him from a bar of soap. And sorry, this was not a night where I was drinking wine.
It wasn't.
Either.
She was
I had
sober.
no wine at this point.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know him from a bag of fish.
At which point I stopped walking, had to cross my legs so I didn't wet my pants.
And 3 children.
And because I've had 3 children. And started laughing so hard that no noise was coming out and tears were streaming down my face and I could not move until like I'd stopped.
We actually had to stop and I was like bent over in that silent like kind of laughter.
And then I can't remember which one of us did one of those like
it was me.
Inhales,
me.
and then that set us off again.
Yeah.
And so I apologise, Margaret River.
Yeah, but it was still at the point where like Margaret River was still quite locked down in that there was only a certain number of people that you could have in pubs and stuff. So I think it was like 2 places open and then us on the street being like... So anyway,
yeah.
What's the bag bit?
I don't know.
A bag of something. There's some sort of saying with a bag. I don't know. Like, no, you said.
I mean, I don't really understand. I don't
Bar
know
of
him from a
soap.
bar of soap means
So why
anyway.
not a bag of fish?
So if you know where that saying comes from, feel free to tell us.
Oh, yeah.
In the comments.
Okay.
Ha! Look, I just did one of those things where I tell people to like comment, like interaction.
That'll be my mum.
Probably. I mean, we could Google it, but
Yeah.
you do it instead.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know him from a bag of fish.
No, we don't know him from a bag of fish. But yeah, so that was our trip to Margaret River.
Yeah, it was lots of fun and lots of laughs.
And also, while we were
had
there,
so much cheese as well.
we did have so much cheese. While we were there, Kacy got me over my fear of creating sleeves on my
Oh yeah,
sweater.
Oh, and we were out like at a cafe, drinking chais and knitting on the. They had this like nice little like couch section next to a roaring fire. It was lovely.
It was nice.
And Tif was like, "Hey, you know it's International Knit in Public Day," and there we were knitting in public.
Because we did that on purpose.
Yeah,
Totally.
we had no idea. And
100% totally planned it. I think it's the 13th of June. Or maybe it's the second Saturday in June, I think, every year is Knit in Public Day. So put it in your calendars for next year, folks.
and go knit in public.
Go Knit in Public. We will be,
Yeah.
now that we know it's a thing that happens.
Anyway, and it was actually so nice because there was so many people would come up to us and like talk about. I think that we've said that in the past. That's something that I'll
Meet a husband.
meet a husband. That they'll be like, "You look like a cool chick."
Knitting.
What do you? Yeah, okay, maybe
Yeah.
not so much. Considering most of the people that came up to us were old ladies.
But they were nice old ladies.
Yeah. And there was one who was like, "I want to see that finished next time," and I was like, "I don't live here." But
But that's okay. Next time
I'm doing this
you
a lot. Not a lot of finger guns today.
Have you been watching The Wiggles?
No.
So anyway,
Yeah.
do you want to talk about your things that you've got finished?
Yes. Okay. So finished objects. Let's move on. Have we finished our trip?
I think we have.
Yeah.
We had a good time. I suggest it. I highly recommend
Yeah.
taking
And
one of your
there's-
friends and making them go down south with you to not buy anything from the shop that you made them go to.
I mean, honestly, like, I could have bought some stuff, but in the end, I was like, I didn't want to buy things just for the sake of buying things. Like, I had a project in mind, and I'm trying to rein it in terms of stash. I think because I've got such a huge fabric stash that now I look back on some of the fabric that I now bought years ago, and I'm like, and so I'd rather buy stuff that I'm inspired by and use it. Anyway. So finished objects. I've got a couple today. One of them's like a now one, and a couple of them are like older projects that I just thought, since I didn't have that much to share, that I would bring along.
And also because they're adorable and gorgeous.
Yeah, and basically my mum, they're stuff that I made for my mum, and she was like, you should include this stuff. And she was going to give me her dog to also be in this video, because one of the things that I made was for her dog. But yeah, it got too hard. I'm sorry, Tilly. I love you.
We love you, Tilly.
But I also had to set up all the camera and stuff myself this time, so I was stressed out.
We don't have a kidnappy in the bedroom this time.
There's no one eating soup in my bedroom this time. So the first thing that I made was
That's so cute. Willow.
this little Willow tank from Green Lane Studios in this pink linen that is from Spotlight, but I've literally had it in my stash for so long.
I really like it.
Half made up into a skirt. So probably 2 years ago, I started making up into a skirt. It just didn't work, and so it was literally just half done sitting there. And then finally I was like, I just like wanted a quick whinge. You know, sometimes you just like the willow tank is so quick and so easy, and I had this fabric here and I was like, I'm sick of it sitting there.
Such a nice colour. It's like a very sort of blush. But can you please talk about this band in the inside, because that's amazing.
The bias binding I didn't have. So the one thing about the willow is you can get it out of like the tiniest amount of fabric apart from the bias binding. So you're supposed to cut the bias binding from the same fabric. But then because obviously you're cutting it on the diagonal, you need like a huge amount more of fabric, which is quite wasteful. And I didn't have enough of this pink linen. So I had some little bit of kind of Liberty fabric left over.
It's amazing.
From a shirt that I made a while ago. So I'll hold it up there. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that.
It's like a little mustard leaf on a white background if you can't see it properly.
And because when you're wearing the top, obviously you don't see it at all. So I highly recommend, just using up scraps of fabric to make your bias binding, because I think it's super cute.
But I also think that if I was wearing that and I knew that I had that contrasting binding on the inside, I'd be like, I'm so cute in my little bias binding top.
And to be honest, I find linen to be quite terrible to use as bias binding. I've made another top where I had to do bias on the sleeves and the neckline, and I used the self fabric, and it's just because linen frays and is quite loose in texture, whereas this bias binding...
The weave's quite loose, isn't it?
Yeah, is super flat. And I think just a little bit special. And the only difference with this is, well, you might be able to see that there is a seam down the back, because I couldn't, you're supposed to cut it on the fold, but because of the way I had the fabric, I just did a seam down the back.
Which made you be able to get as much out of the fabric as possible. So it seems like a fantastic, economical way to do it, if you ask me.
I made it on the first day of winter.
Because why would you not make a singlet on the first day of winter?
Yeah, made in linen too.
Yeah,
which is very
cool
fabric. Have you got anything?
Very cute. I don't have any finished things.
I'll skate through mine.
You can, please continue.
Okay. So the next one is my little doggy quilt. So
cute.
Let's just.
So cute. I feel that we're quite predictable in our colour choices. Like, I'm just looking at this and then thinking about the blanket that's behind us and being like,
Yeah. So if you can see close up as well, this is actually like doggy themed fabric as well, which makes it extra
little
cute.
paw prints and stuff.
Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes and my computer's just
Gone to sleep.
So this is a modified version of the Charm Box quilt pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. And it's the Moda Fabrics Woof Woof Meow fabric collection. I had to read that there. So I think I can't remember, I made this a while ago now, so I can't remember what the modifications were.
Is it just smaller? Is that the modification?
No, I think I actually made a change to the actual pattern. I can't remember now.
The fabric is adorable.
Yeah, it's super cute. And like a nice colour palette as well. Yeah, that was it really.
And that's Tilly's little blanket.
And that's, for my mum's little dog. So she sits on that on the couch. And then this was...
Again, predictable colour palette coming up.
So this is a blanket that I made for my mum. It's like a...
Which she's going to leave to me in her will.
It's like a new family heirloom. So...
It's okay, I know you're not. It's fine.
Like, it's okay, Lorraine. It's all fine. So this is made from...
It's cotton, isn't it?
It's cotton, yeah. Which my mum chose that, and as soon as I started working with it, I was like, oh my God, this is the worst. So it splits a lot because it's made up of multiple strands, and I was still a beginner crocheter at this point.
Yeah,
so...
she's a beginner crocheter when she made this, people.
Shut up. And so it split a lot when I was using it. So, but I feel like it made me a better crocheter.
Also, tip that Kacy learnt while making this blanket is weave your ends in as you go.
Oh my God, stop it. I can't even. Trauma.
Sorry, trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
Kacy made the squares and didn't weave in her ends.
It's because I didn't want to, okay? I hate weaving in ends. and I didn't want to. And
so she left it all to the end.
And I think it was at some point where I realized there was like 700 ends to weave in, because of course each individual square had probably like 6, and then of course as you join them together, then you've got like 2 per row, and then you're joining them the other way.
So tip, oh my God, weave your ends as you go, so you don't have to do it all at the end.
Yeah, just don't do
just
what I did.
Suck it up and just do it. Eat that frog.
Yeah, exactly. So this was a half square triangle blanket, using Sorella's kaleidoscope blanket pattern. I adjusted it slightly in terms of the overall number of squares and the placement of the squares as well, because hers was very much in like a diamond shape going out, but because this blanket's bigger, I more kind of just randomized the pattern.
Which is, randomizing is harder to do.
Oh yeah, I had to like lay it out on the floor and try and kind of randomize it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
and is it essentially just a, UK treble crochet, US double crochet?
Yeah,
is it essentially
much
what it is?
Yeah, so it's just like a granny square, and you kind of start with the white, and then you just like, you're kind of going around, and then you change over to the, so you're kind of going back and forth, so you end up doing like 2 rounds of the white, and then you go 2 rounds of the yellow, and then 2 rounds of the white. And then I just did a very, very simple single crochet border.
Which is very effective.
Felt that's all it really needed.
Yeah.
And it's like nice because it doesn't get super cold here in Perth, so it's like not too like,
it's cotton, so
cotton.
it's
Yeah.
breathable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah. And thanks, Mum, for waiting, I think 2 years.
It would have been close to, I reckon. Yeah. But it was worth it, I feel.
Yeah, she'll have it for the rest of her life.
Yeah. So. And then hand it down to me when she...
So I apologise for the lighting. It is the middle of winter here, so...
the sun keeps going behind clouds.
Yeah, and we're still waiting for some lights to arrive from...
China,
overseas.
probably.
Yeah, probably China. And that's it for my finished objects.
Okay. Shall I talk about this thing that I have in my hands then?
Yeah.
Okay. So as I mentioned, while we were away, Kacy helped me get over my fear of sleeves. Because...
And it wasn't even doing the sleeves. It was just splitting for sleeves.
Yeah, splitting for sleeves. Because it felt terrifying to me in my brain about how it was going to work, and I was sure I was going to mess it up. No. But lucky I had Kacy with me, because it turned out that somehow I'd added like 22 stitches to my jumper. Which, Kacy's like, you'll probably have like 2 or 4 extra stitches, and I was like 22.
How that happened, I do not know. Because, I think sometimes I end up with a couple of extra ones, and I do like a decrease or something.
Yeah.
22.
Just whatever.
Completely different. It's not even a completely different size jumper. It's just like...
I mean, I'm just an individual, all right? That's all there is to it. So I done like, the yoke was all finished, and I was moving on, and then I'd kept kind of putting it down and not wanting to do it because I was terrified of splitting for the sleeves. So yes, Kacy pinned me down and said, we're doing it.
Yes.
So we did it. So I have sleeves now, and I'm actually very impressed with myself that it looks like a jumper, already.
100%. It looks amazing.
Like I could wear it now if I wanted to.
We basically just figured out with the 22 stitches just to make sure that we distributed those.
Just divided it by 4 or whatever we did.
Properly to make sure that you obviously didn't have an extra 22 on the front. And then your sleeves would be in weird spots.
And just a reminder, I'm using the Heartland. I took the belly band off. Now I can't remember what it's called. I'll put it down the bottom again. Glacier Blue, I think it's called. Glacier something.
Pretty.
And
you were saying before that like everyone, when you show it to them, loves the colour.
Every time I get it out, everyone's like, oh my God, I love that colour. So this is the size of the balls. And this jumper so far I'm almost finished the second one. So
that's amazing. I'm
getting quite a lot out of each one. So I think I bought 5.
Yeah, 5 will be plenty.
And I think that'll be fine.
Some left over.
Yeah. So that's the main thing I'm working on at the moment, because I'm trying to not procrastinate, because I'd like to wear it at least once before the end of winter this year.
Yeah, I reckon you will.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of working away quietly. Take it out to reception with me when I do reception cover at lunchtime, and then have everyone say, oh, where are you up to? And I have to stop and show everybody. And thank you for being interested, people who are interested.
Is anyone at work watching this?
Not sure if anyone at work's watching this. If they are,
Shout out.
hi people at work.
Hi, people at Tiffany's work. Never met you.
Kacy says hi.
Hi.
Your turn.
My turn? Okay, so again, let's stick with the same theme. My jumper that I am also still working on. So this is the Flax Pullover by Tin Can Knits. And I am at a similar stage to Tiff on hers. Although I'm up to my, you probably can't tell yet, but I've started my ribbing at the bottom.
Kacy wears her jumpers a little bit more cropped than me. So
Yeah.
I unfortunately have to keep going longer.
Yeah, but I'm also gonna do probably a much wider band at the bottom than is on the pattern. And this it was supposed to take 13 balls of the Quince & Co. Owl, but I'm only on the 5th ball, I think.
Oh, that's really good.
I think because the flax is actually quite a long jumper, so the fact that I'm cropping it quite substantially, I think I'm going to get away with maybe 9 or 10.
How many balls do you think the sleeves will use?
Probably 3 each,
Okay.
so another 6.
Okay.
So yeah, I reckon I'll be around 10 to do them all. And I'm doing the wide band on the sleeves as well. So yeah, that's where that one's at. I haven't done that much work on it because I flippin' hate doing ribbing. Like it's just a one by one rib, so it's just knit one, purl one.
And you have to concentrate it on it more, so it's not like you can do it while you're doing other things because otherwise
making
you
the
end
body
up...
like pretty much down south. I made all the body.
Yeah.
Like
I can do this while we're filming because it's literally just knit.
Yeah.
knit,
Whereas
knit,
if I was to do it, I wouldn't be able to talk.
Yes, because you have to be like, wait, what am I doing? Otherwise your ribbing ends up crooked.
Yeah.
And you have to start your jumper 12 times.
Yeah, which is not what I want.
No, that would be bad.
Okay, what have you got next?
I don't have any more works in progress, so are you ready?
Yeah, I've got 2.
Okay, go.
So, I was bringing out some old projects as well, just because I have a few things sitting around. So, this is a colour pooling jumper that I've had...
Jumper? Are you going to wear that?
Yes. Yeah, this is a jumper. It is a blanket.
I mean, you could do that thing where you, like, stitch the corner together and make,
then
like,
just
the sleeves.
It's just like...
No, you know that thing where they, like... And you wear it, like, around your back. And they, like, join it as a triangle.
Sounds horrifying.
It does sound horrifying. Particularly in that colourway.
Because really, I don't even like this as a blanket.
Don't you? I think it's lovely.
I don't like it.
It's very picnicky.
Yeah. So basically, I just wanted to try colour pooling. So it comes up really beautifully.
It does.
On the screen where you can see it, you end up with this argyle pattern.
Does it like itself? You don't even have to do anything. It just...
No, but you need a very specific kind of wool. So the pattern is by Repeat Crafter Me, and it's using the Karen Simply Stripes. So there's a couple of colorways, which I ended up giving you the other
I've
colorway.
got like a pink colorway, which I tried to start, but you have to get it exactly right. Otherwise, the argyle doesn't do. So I tried it about 4 times, and then I got angry, so I put it down.
So basically, it's like for every little color section, you need to end up with 3, 4, 5, 6 like granny clusters, which are basically 3 clusters of
double crochet US, triple crochet UK.
Yeah, and then in the beginning, it's a little bit hard to kind of get the transitions at the right point because you've obviously got to get your tension exact. But once you've been doing it for a while, it becomes kind of easier, and it just magically kind of, as long as you do the 6 little clusters of 3 double crochets, then it just magically makes
it's pretty much exactly the colours that we like. So I don't know why you don't like it. Oh, the yellow is a bit wrong, I think, actually. I think it's the yellow. And maybe the blue is a bit too blue.
Yeah, I like it. And it was basically going to be a baby blanket, so I'll finish it off at some point, and some baby out there will end up... And I'm doing the navy is going to be the border. And there's a few on Instagram which actually look really pretty when they're done.
I'm sure it'll be nice once it's finished.
But I'm just it's been sitting around for a couple of years now.
So yeah, I started trying to do the other colorway, and it just made me so angry that I had to stop because Knitting should not make you angry.
No.
Well, crochet in that instance should not make you angry.
If you're doing your craft and it's just making you like frustrated, then
stop.
Put it down.
Yep.
Go move on with your life. Do something else. Come back to it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing this for joy, not for frustration.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just a baby.
I'm making a baby quilt. So when I first started making things for friends who are having babies, I was making them like crocheted blankets, which take so long.
So long.
And so then I swapped to making quilts, like patchwork style quilts, because they're a lot quicker. And then at the end of last year, I had 8 friends having 9 babies, and I was like, ugh. So I basically started making different style of quilts, which is like, there's no patchwork involved in it. So it's literally, I use gauze and double gauze from Spotlight. And it's basically just that on one side, this on the other side.
And what's in the middle?
Done, and then just like batting in the middle.
Oh, it's very nice.
So this is obviously not completely, this is just, I've only just started the quilting part. And then I basically just quilt it together. And I just do very simple, like...
Is it like a grid? Will it be a grid?
Yeah, it'll just be a grid. And that's just... Help. I just
little
use
tip.
Washi tape to help me get my line straight. So I kind of spread it out. I put the washi tape on there. And then I sew down the line, because washi tape just removes. So it's quite amazing. And then all I need to do then
It's quite nice. I feel very warm now.
Binding on it, which will just be
very nice.
bound around the edges.
It's so easy.
Yeah. So this I can do in like a day.
But like so thoughtful, but so easy.
Yeah. And because it's double gauze, it's like super soft. And once you wash it up, it just ends up being like really squishy and lovely.
Gifts shouldn't have to take weeks and months. You can make something quickly that's still very thoughtful and people appreciate.
Yeah. And these ones are good because they can kind of be used like just as like play mats and stuff.
Yeah, because it's squishy enough that you could put it on the ground and the baby would be soft.
Yeah. And I did a double batting as well in there, so it's extra squish. And I don't pin baste my quilts because I'm lazy, so I spray baste my quilts because I find it easier. But I really loved the brand of basting spray that I used to have, but then I ran out and I got one from Spotlight,
Not as
the
good.
Birch brand one. Disgusting. Oh my God, it is so chemically.
Oh.
Because I always spray baste in my kitchen because it's the flattest area and it doesn't matter if the spray gets on the floor, I can just mop it up. But yeah, I just did it the other day and my entire apartment stunk for like
Gross.
24 hours. It smells really like chemically.
Where did you get the other one from?
From that quilting store in...
Willerton?
One of the... Not the one next to Spotlight, the other one.
Okay, we'll put the link.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a much nicer spray. So yeah, I'll hopefully finish that off this weekend because the person I'm giving it to is now 36 and a half weeks.
Oh, they'll be having a baby soon.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. Babies are awesome.
We do love babies.
And I think that's all of my works in progress.
Okay. I'm gonna just... last month, I talked about the sheepies pattern. I think it's called Heirloom Blanket, if I recall correctly, but if not, I will correct myself down below.
Watch the other video.
Yeah, just watch the other video.
Yeah, you just have to...
It'll only take you an hour and a half.
Spare 90 minutes.
It'll be
it's
fine.
in there somewhere. And I actually figured out how to put little markers. So at the beginning of each section, so finished jobs in progress, blah, blah, blah. I've put markers in there now. So if you're only interested in...
You're so smart.
I know. Not just a pretty
Not just
face.
a pretty face. So anyway...
My dad would say, not even.
Such a dad joke. So yes, I talked about that last month and I really want to make it, and it's essentially using all of the colours from the
Should we do this simultaneously?
river/stonewashed. So then I went on the internet and I purchased one for me and one for Kacy. These little cute sets. They've got these little tiny like skeins of yarn.
I'm just going to hold it here. Okay, talk about it.
Okay, hi.
Sorry. Okay, wait, there we go.
So it's got the stone washed and the river washed sheepies yarn. From what I can tell, the stone washed is kind of like marbledy. kind of thing, and no, wait.
No, the Stonewash is marbledy, but the River Washed is more like there's two
Multiple
colours.
colours, yeah.
Whereas the Stonewash is more with like a neutral.
Yeah, but they're so cute. Like the little, look how cute they are. Like, look at the little skein.
And like perfect for this blanket.
Yeah, because you don't want to have lots of leftovers,
No.
obviously.
Can you imagine if you wanted to buy all these colours in a full
Yeah,
ball?
no. So yes, I bought one for me and one for Kacy because I love
Thanks,
her.
Tiff.
And she also expressed an interest in doing a similar blanket. I really like this one.
Similar. I'm going to do the same.
So, oh, look at this one. This one's so nice.
Yeah, we've
anyway,
been trying to decide what colours are favourite.
Yeah, as soon as I gave it to Kacy, she was like, which one's my favourite? And then she was like, this one. No, this one. No, this one. No, this one. And then I was like, what about this one? She's like, oh, good. That one too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really lovely and it's very soft. And
So it is 78% cotton and 22% acrylic.
I guess that would make it more washable or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's beautiful and I love it, and we're gonna make blankets out of it at some point. So I've made progress towards the blanket because I have the yarn.
Exciting.
It's very exciting. I also just love saying sheepies.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I always say sheepjeez.
yeah, which is how it's spelled.
Sheepjeez. How do you say it?
I assume it's sheepies because like the J like an E sound. You know, like
Like my name?
your name doesn't have a J in it.
My son.
Oh, your surname.
I was
like, Kacy does not have a J in it.
you forgot what my surname is?
No, I thought you were talking about your first name. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
clearly
your name
not.
is
I was
literally
talking
Kacy. What are you talking about? The Y is a Y, Kacy.
No, my surname where the J should be pronounced as a Y, but no one does because we've Australianized my surname.
I was like,
not we.
I was like, is your name Kacy this whole time? And I
So you didn't realise that you've been spelling my name wrong?
this whole time.
Yeah, my name is Kacj.
Yeah, Kacy.
Yeah,
Yeah, obviously.
obviously.
So yeah, I just like saying sheepies.
Yeah.
Sheep juice.
I
Either of
I
those.
say sheepjeez. Somebody please tell us.
I
So
mean,
we
I feel
stop
like
embarrassing ourselves on the internet.
I feel like
I mean,
it's
that's
like-
not going to be why we're embarrassing ourselves.
like quinoa. Like
yeah, quinoa.
yeah, Alan and I constantly call it quinoa in the shops, and then I always like if people are nearby, I always want to be like, we know it's called quinoa. We're being dickheads on purpose. Like it's okay, we know.
Oh, my favourite is the like acai.
Oh, the acai berries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Acai.
Acai.
Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
To me?
Oh yeah, are we doing future? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a future, and then I've got some stash.
Okay.
So what I was going to say is that I thought I had decided on future projects. I've mentioned previously I'm going to do the Throw Over, not the Throwaway, by Andrea Mowry. And originally I was going to use the wool that she uses in the... sorry, is there something popped up on there? No, it's fine. The wool that she uses actually in the
pattern that she recommends. Yeah.
But then I was like, no, I'm going to buy something local. And then I went to Crossways wool in Subiaco because I work close by. So I walked there in my lunch break. And I had decided to use the Heirloom Merino 10 ply. Yeah, because it's a worsted weight. And then the Malabrigo Rios.
Oh, the Malabrigo is so pretty.
Because I found they had some colours in there. But then I started looking at the original one from Spin Cycle Yarns, which is the yarn that she uses for the colourwork section. And it's just different because the Malabrigo basically is kind of like the hedgehog in that the colours change as you go through the strand, which is what happens with the Spin Cycle. But the Spin Cycle also, they have two colours wrapped around. So each strand is two colours and then they change as it goes. And I really want that.
The extra depth of colour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what makes her so special.
Yeah.
So I had completely decided and I was going to go to Crossways and buy it all there. But now I've rethought it. And I think I might just get the Spin Cycle for the colour work. And then rather than getting the Magpie Fibres Nest, which is the worsted weight for the rest of the jumper, I might get that locally and either use the Heirloom Merino or I'll use the Quince & Co.
Quince & Co, yeah.
Owl, probably. There was a really nice deep navy. So, yeah, I thought I'd decided, but now I've changed my mind.
Which, we are wont to do.
Yeah.
So then the only other thing that I've got is when we were away as well, I forgot to mention earlier, from the spool and spindle, the spoon and spoodle, they have the heirloom yarn, which we have here in Spotlight in Perth, but the Spotlight doesn't have the fleck. They only have the solid colours. Well, I don't know if they do now. I did notice when I was in Spotlight the other day that they seem to have a whole new lot of yarn they've never had before.
Depends on which Spotlight you go to as well. Like Melville is very different to Innaloo.
Yeah.
Because I've been to both this week.
So it's got these little specks in it of like cream and brown. I don't know if you can see. So I got enough of each of these colours, the blue and the green, to do flaxes for my nephews.
These look so cute in flax.
They will look very cute in flax. So that's a future project that I will hopefully start soon, because otherwise they'll need a larger size and I won't have enough yarn.
And yeah, basically the one that I'm thinking about doing for the throw over is heirloom as well.
Yeah.
But heirloom has an 8-ply, but they also have a 10-ply, which is
quite rare to find in Australia. We have discovered 10-ply or worsted is quite hard to find.
We go from 8-ply up to 12-ply.
Yeah.
But 10-ply, which is like all of the jumper patterns that I like, are always in worsted, and it's hard to find. But yeah, now heirloom do a 10-ply as well.
So yeah, they're my little. I think those two colours will be gorgeous together.
Oh,
so cute.
Little twinsies.
Yeah. Hi, Fred and Charlie.
Hi, Fred and Charlie. Yeah. So, I don't know whether I've spoken about this fabric before.
I don't think you have.
No, because it was the other one that was the Gorman-esque.
Yes.
So
this is a bit Gorman-esque as well.
Very Gorman-esque.
Yeah.
So, this fabric has been in my stash for a little while. It is this gorgeous, it's kind of like a...
Makes me want to go, rah! Ooh, the lighting went all funny.
Ooh. Oh, it's probably because I had that up there.
Yeah.
And then I took it away. So this is the... it's from Nerida Hansen.
Oh, I was going to tell you about Nerida Hansen if you hadn't already discovered Nerida Hansen. Nerida Hansen's amazing.
As if. I don't already know. She's got some amazing...
Australiana prints.
And the Gumnut babies.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
So this is very Gorman-esque fabric, and it's like a rayon-y, so it's like quite nice.
Is it rayon and cotton, or is it just rayon?
I can't remember now because it's been in my stash a while, but you can see it's quite nice and drapey, so perfect for making clothes. And I'm going to make another Rita shirt dress, but as a shirt. So
good idea. With the 3/4 sleeve?
Yeah, same as the other one. So yeah, that's
exciting.
My future project, because I'm finally using this. I've got so much of it that I could actually make a dress, but
you probably won't wear it.
No, because it's just like I'm steering away from patterns, which is very surprising to me.
But I feel that you also wear more separates than you wear.
I do. I barely wear dresses anymore.
Yeah, so it makes sense to make it a shirt.
Because I'll wear it much more, because then I can wear it with jeans.
And realistically, if you had enough left, you could make a baby blanket out of what's left, because it would be cute.
True.
And it would be very kind of not unisex if you had some left over.
Yeah, true. So that's my future project there. Just got a giant pile of like shit that I'm like, throwing
As we
down.
finish, we're like, bleh.
Like it was this nice pile of stuff next to me, all nicely like in order, and now it's like this giant thing below the camera.
But that's okay, because we're the ones who have to clean it up. So
future Kacy's problem.
Correct. The only other thing that I've got is a bit of a stash enhancer. So as I said, when I was at Spotlight the other day, I realised that they seem to have gotten some new yarn. They seem to have some new brands, but also some new, within the brands they already had, some new like colours and styles and stuff.
And I have a feeling it's because of COVID, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've been there and there's been like empty shelves. So I feel like
so
they've
many
then had
empty
to
shelves.
like go to other...
But I think they've also just done a big like clear out end of financial year, and then they've brought new stuff in for the new financial year. So they've always had Cleckheaton, because I have some Cleckheaton for another blanket. But this is new. This is called Ravine Tweed.
They've had the Lawson Tweed for quite a while, because I made a jump.
But I feel this is definitely new. So this is acrylic, wool, alpaca, silk, and viscose. So it's a lot of things in there. But I don't know if you can see, it's got like a lovely, like,
it's quite
tweedy kind
quite
of.
flecky. And
It is very
speckled and-
flecky. So it's predominantly like a beautiful teal, which I hate, obviously.
Terrible.
And then it's got like a little bit of this kind of like greeny mustardy color. And then it's got some like indigo. It's got grey. It's got white. It's got like
gorgeous.
a bright blue every
Can't
now
wait to
and
see what
then.
that looks like.
Yeah, so my intention for this, I could only find 2 when I was there the other day, and they weren't even together. One was in one aisle,
They have it at Crossways.
and one was in a different aisle, and there was no more of it anywhere. But the girl who was unpacking it and putting it on the shelves had a whole bunch of like grey in the same, the ravine tweed, and she was like, I'm trying to figure out where this goes, and I was like, cool, do you have any more of this? And she was like, I don't know, and she seemed a little bit stressed. So I grabbed these 2 because I figure they will have more, and then I'll figure out what pattern I want to make, and then I'll buy the right amount.
Next time at Crossways, I'll check for you.
Thank you.
So just let me know the dye lot.
So yes, once I figure out what I'm making, I think it will be quite stunning with all those different colours in it.
It'll be gorgeous.
I mean, it's very similar to the colour of the jumper I'm already making, but if I make it in a different style, it'll be fine.
And who cares?
Yeah, maybe I'll make a cardigan.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Awesome.
So yeah, that's my stash enhancement.
So I still had one more kind of future project.
Well, I suppose that's a future project slash
Yeah,
stash
I mean, stash
enhancement.
enhancement and future project is kind of the same, apart from
Yeah.
I do have some stash that's I don't have anything for yet. But one of my other future projects, which I have nothing to show you, is just which is completely kind of it's I would say it's still a craft.
Is this woodwork?
No.
Okay.
Soap.
Oh yeah.
So that still I think counts. So I have made some soap before, but I am going to make some more. So I'm using there's like a how do you say it? Castel.
I don't know.
Oh. That soap. Anyway, it basically means the Castel soap is 100% olive oil soap,
Ooh.
which I've made before, and I use a cold process to make that. And shout out to Ellie's Everyday on YouTube. She's an Australian and does some amazing like beginner, if anyone's interested in soap making.
But also soap making is very dangerous.
Yeah. So you don't realize, you're like, oh yeah, this is fine, but then they're like, glove up, put like goggles on,
masks.
like no children or animals in the like it's very full on.
It is.
Like, and
then we wash our bodies with it, but it's fine by then.
you have to wait 6 weeks before you can wash your body with it, otherwise it'll burn you.
So just a word of warning, soap making is very dangerous.
Terrifying. And if you add, so you're basically using lye and water and then putting it into an oil solution, and this chemical reaction takes place called saponification, and that's what makes soap. Basically.
Which is where the word soap comes from, I would assume, from saponification.
Saponification. And it's the saponification process that takes it from being a very, very like caustic like thing that will burn you into
And dissolve
something-
bodies.
And
I mean,
yeah,
I've heard.
and I mean, basically, lye is what you can clean drains with. It's like drain cleaner, basically.
And what serial killers use to dissolve bodies.
Yeah. So.
Oh, whoops, that's not the podcast we're making. I forgot.
No,
Sorry.
that's the other
Yeah,
true
that's
crime.
the true crime one.
When I get murdered by one of my Tinder dates, and Tiffany then has to do a true crime podcast.
Yeah.
To find my killer. And
Which I would do, 100%.
I mean, you just go into my Tinder profile and find the last person I went on a date with.
That could be a red herring, though.
It's true. It's true. I do generally, if I am going on a date, will send
That's true.
people's names and phone numbers to make sure I don't get murdered.
We're grown-ups.
Yeah. So, yeah, soap making is terrifying if you've never done it before. And, yeah, you got to make sure when you're adding, I can't remember now, so don't take this as gospel, but you either have to add the lye into the water or the water into the lye. If you do it the wrong way around, then things explode.
You will
basically.
die.
Yeah, you will die. So
go to Ellie's
every day.
every day and listen to her instructions, not
She
ours.
has an amazing, like, just beginner cold press soap and the Castel soap as well. And really all you need to have is like water, lye, and olive oil, and you end up with this beautiful soap. So
And then if you want like fragrances, you could have essential oil as
yeah,
well.
I used
obviously.
essential oils in mine because I don't like synthetic fragrances. Or you can just have no fragrance. And
Yeah.
Just have some nice soap. And then I just have a bit of stash.
Okay,
Oh, is it me?
that's you. Stash. Let's go.
So, I was quite chuffed at this because.
Did
we
you
all
follow
know-
my advice?
Tiffany is the queen of the remnant bin.
Not the one at Cannington. Don't go there. It's terrible.
I've never found a good remnant in my fucking life. I was like, I don't even know where she's going. I didn't actually know even where the remnant bin was. I kept going to the clearance, and I realised remnants and clearance is different.
It's different.
So I was at Spotlight needing to get the quilt basting spray, and then I was like, wait, I think I found the remnant bin. $2 a metre.
It's very exciting.
So, and these both were in there, and
I'm so impressed.
Colour.
I'm so impressed.
So this is the Jocelyn Proust fabric.
Made exclusively for Spotlight.
In this beautiful Australiana print. It's like a quilting cotton.
As most of her prints are, Australiana.
Yeah. And so but both basically of these pieces ended up costing me $2.90.
Get the fuck out.
I know, right? And this is a gorgeous cotton linen blend.
Which I nearly bought yesterday when I was at Spotlight.
Oh,
I mean Friday when I was at Spotlight.
So this is normally like $20 a metre.
Uh-huh.
And so neither of them are quite a metre. But yeah, like I said, I ended up paying $2.90 for both of these bits. That's doubled over, so it's...
Twice that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're about 80 centimetres each.
And this actually coordinates perfectly with the little like dots on the bristly things.
So I'm thinking about making a project bag.
Nice.
And then just decide whether I want that on the outside or that on the outside. Anyway. Or, yeah, it'll be something like that. But
it's very cute.
I don't like to have too much stash, but when I saw that for like $3, I'm sorry, I had to buy it.
This is why I have so much stash, because I go to the remnants bin constantly.
Yeah,
and I can't help myself.
Yeah, now that I realise the remnants bin is different to the clearance.
See? I'm full of valuable tips.
I know.
I'm also good at helping you find the toilet when you're out in public.
She's a mum.
It's my mum powers.
It's the mum powers. When we were in Cowarumup and where we got our beanies, I was like, because I think that's when we were about to leave and take the drive back. So I was like, well, I need to like go to the toilet before I start driving back to Perth. And I was like, I'm just going to go around this corner. And I went around this corner, like where that, the...
Like old, like hall thing is.
Yeah. And then it kind of took me around the back. And then it had like this like handwritten sign being like toilets this way, like 300 meters. And I was like in this weird alleyway. And then it was like this area where it was like there was forklifts. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then I was like, and then I went back around all the way around and then found you. And then I was like, Tiffany, I really need to go to the toilet. And then you were
we walked like 5 steps and I was like, there it is.
Yeah. And it's basically, I'd gone like all the way around the back of Cowarumup to try and find this place that was like right there.
Which was essentially the second time it had happened on the trip as well, because it also happened in Margaret River. Apparently my presence brings the public toilet into view.
Oh, that's right, because we were at Riversmith, and I was like,
yeah.
where is it? And I was like walking behind these buildings again, and I was like trying to open these doors, and I was like where they were like loading things into shops.
Essentially, like when people say, if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be? Mine is finding the toilet.
Yeah, but then we realised when we left the building, I was like, oh my God, I've actually been in that toilet like yesterday.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my superpower, finding the toilet.
I don't think I have one.
A superpower?
Oh, sometimes I can open books to the exact page that I'm looking for.
That's a superpower.
Like,
it's definitely a superpower.
Not all the time. Like maybe half a dozen times.
You make a really good chai tea. Is that a superpower? No. I think that's a superpower.
No, it's not.
I think it is.
Okay, we'll go with that. It sounds lame.
I mean, finding toilets is my superpower. So.
I mean, useful for me. I think it's a great superpower. The other thing that I wanted to just mention is that, so I was at work the other day, and, wait, what?
Nothing.
What? Did I have a funny story?
No, I was just like, just the one day?
Oh, yeah. I went to work like one day last month. No.
My staff do this thing to me all the time where they go, hey, Tiffany, I have a job. And I'm like, just the one job? They have like 500 jobs each or something.
Oh, I thought you meant like, yes, you do. I hire you.
That's what we call like our the projects in our system, like a job. So they're like, hey, Tiffany, I have a job. And I'm like, just the one? So you were like, I was at work the other day. And I was like, just the one day?
No, I work full time. And I've got to start my master's soon.
I know, that's very exciting.
Terrifying.
Terrifying.
so we were going to this meeting, me and my boss and stuff, so we were kind of chatting along the way, and I somehow mentioned knitting and realized that she was really into crochet. Like, and I was like, oh my God. So we ended up on this like long rant. Instead of actually having a meeting, we just sat and had coffee and talked about crochet for ages. And then like we got back to the office, and then she was like, Kacy, and called me into her office, and I went in there and she was like, look at this website. And it's Knit Picks. So she was telling me about Knit Picks.
Yes.
Which is like a really good place to get like some bulk yarn.
It is, yeah.
Because she bought some to make this blanket out of. And so I just wanted to like throw that out there because I haven't really used Knit Picks that much. So if you haven't heard of it, check it out. Cause
we'll put a link.
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
And yeah, it was just cool to like also find someone else who's like into
dorky stuff like us.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, I think, I don't know, it brings people together.
It does. It does.
That's it. Anything else that you want to say?
I sort of forgot to say at the start, which is part of why I haven't got a lot of finished objects this month as well, is that I've been doing a lot of groundwork for a capsule wardrobe.
Oh, yes. I was actually thinking that when you held up your scarf. I was like...
So for those of you who aren't familiar with what a capsule wardrobe is, it's essentially a wardrobe that is very coordinatable. That's not a word. All the pieces can kind of mix and match together very easily. Bit like for those of you who were alive in the 80s, Suzanne's used to have that. This goes with that, goes with this, goes with that.
This goes with that at Suzanne's.
Yeah.
I didn't realise.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a dumb song.
No.
Like, that me and my brother used to sing all the time.
Same. So yeah, it's lots of pieces
now I'm singing in my head.
I know, right? Lots of pieces that go together. So like, you might have one top that goes with 4 of your bottoms. Essentially, everything goes with everything.
Yeah, and
basically.
So if you've got like, you only end up needing like 5 tops, 5 bottoms, and then like a few extra things, and then you've got like a million
40 outfits or whatever. Yeah, that's not the right math, but just let's go with it. So yes, I tend to be a impulse shopper. I will see things that are beautiful and be like, oh, I have to have it, and buy it. And I have this desire to complete things. So like I have to own one of everything, sort of. So if something comes in 3 colors, I want all of them. So I have a wardrobe full of patterns that don't go together. I have nearly all of my tops are pattern tops, and nearly all of my skirts are pattern skirts, which doesn't work.
I mean, in some cases it does, but
not as well.
No, and I think it's like the kind of patterns that you have aren't ones that go together.
Not necessarily. So it's not just spots and stripes. Yeah, they're like very patterned.
Like actual like
like this
pictures.
Is bunnies with strawberries and flowers and things. So in order to stop being a mass consumer of mass-produced fashion that costs $3 and then we throw it away when we're sick of it, I want to move towards lots more of making my own clothes and buying pieces that are more expensive but will last longer and that I will want to wear for longer. So yes, I've been doing lots of groundwork for my capsule wardrobe, so looking through patterns to find ones that will make good coordinating pieces, looking at fabrics to decide what sort of colours that I want to have. So at this stage, I've kind of got my colours in my head, and when I was at Spotlight on Friday, I took lots of photos of fabric to bring home so I could see whether they would all go together. And yesterday I cleaned out my wardrobe and took out all the things that I think are not going to work for my capsule wardrobe. So now I don't have as many things hanging in my wardrobe. I still have way too many. But yes, so part of the reason why I bought my scarf was because this is going to be one of the colours in my capsule wardrobe. And even though I don't have a capsule wardrobe now, this actually does go with nearly everything I own.
Yeah.
Because I obviously am very predictable in the colour palette that I purchase.
Yeah, because even though you don't have a capsule wardrobe, everything is still probably within the colour range.
Yeah.
It's just very patterned, and that's not patterned, so it would go with everything.
So it goes with everything. It even goes with this.
Yeah.
So yeah, capsule wardrobes. Check them out if that interests you, because they're cool.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I forgot to talk about at the start.
Yep.
So yeah. Thank you for watching. Sorry that this month's episode is a bit late. We had a technical difficulty last week.
Yep. But hey, it's life.
That is life.
Move on.
We live it to the full. Knitting on our couches. Anyway, so yes, thank you for joining us once more on Having a Yarn. It's been lovely to see you.
Even though we can't see anything
I
apart
mean...
from ourselves, and I just keep staring at myself.
Why did you ruin the magic of television?
Sorry. Yes.
We
hello. We are part of your lounge room right now.
Anyway, thanks for coming.
Okay.
It's been good having you.
Yeah.
Have a good month.
And we'll hopefully have some stuff to share with you next time.
Bye.
Cool. Bye.